Hello, in this video we're going to explore a site called wordclouds.com, wordclouds.com, and as the name indicates, this is a site for helping you make word clouds. Okay, so it's free, it's easy to use, and it's got some nice options. If you've got another site that you like to use for this, that's fine. There are lots of sites out there. I like this one in particular because of the options that are available. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, a word cloud is just an analysis of an amount of text that shows the words that appear most frequently in a larger size. Okay, there are some other options available in many of them, but basically that's it. So if I'm reading an article and the word teacher appears more than any other word, then in the cloud that will appear at a larger size, and the words that appear least frequently will be the smallest. Also in a word cloud, generally certain words are ignored. Words like end, of, the, because these would tend to dominate the cloud, and they generally, they're needed in the text, but they don't convey a lot of meaning. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we have to do is learn how to load the text into the program. And there's a couple of different ways. They're here under File. You can see you can paste text. You can open a text file, so if you happen to have a file that ended in txt for some reason, which you might have, you could just upload it or open it. You can just put in a website address or a URL, or you can open PDF or Microsoft Office documents. Okay, so if you happen to have a Word file, you can open that here. If you happen to have a PDF, and that's probably more common where you've maybe downloaded something from the internet, and it's in PDF format, you can upload that here. The two that we're going to take a look at now is doing it through a URL and then pasting text directly in, because that can be done from just about any source. You can usually copy and paste from any source that you have. So let's go to Open URL. First of all, I've opened this little article here. I happen to be on a website, and it's talking about how to add science to your Thanksgiving dinner. So I imagine the science of cooking is involved there. And I'm just going to click up here, and I'm going to copy that address and bring it back. And now I'm going to say Open URL, and I'm going to paste that in there. Now I used Control V, but you could right click and paste as well. However you get that URL in there and say OK. And you're going to see the word cloud is formed. And you can see that the major words here, you can see here science, and science appears again. That's because this is uppercase. This is probably science. It's starting a sentence, and this just science found somewhere between. So it is case sensitive. It will represent words more than once for their capital or non-capital versions. Okay, and you can see that just looking at this, you can see salt, food, science, sugar, meat. If I hadn't seen the title of the article at all, I would assume that this had to do with the science of cooking. Okay, now a couple of other options. First of all, if you wanted to, say, copy and paste text in directly, let me just go to another website here. This is an article on teaching students the truth about history. And you can see that I've just selected the text. Now, if there were pictures or graphs in there, that really wouldn't matter. You can select right over them. The tool is generally smart enough just to ignore that stuff. So you select and copy, come back, File, paste. You paste it right in there. Say Apply. And now you can see Thanksgiving is very prominent, so this must be about teaching the truth about Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, this is probably not the type of word you'd like to have in there because it doesn't convey much. Lowen, this may be a person's name, but you can see it's about students talking the world. This may not be the most informative word cloud I've ever seen, but that's definitely worth trying. Some of this will come down to the writer's style as well. Okay, so let's go back and get this URL, because I think, one, it's a longer article, so we might be able to do a little more with it, and two, it seemed to a little better reflect, what was going on in that article. Now, some options that we have. Size. You can view this in a bunch of different resolutions, 800 by 800, 1900 by 1080. Generally, something around 1000 is good. The only time you really want to beef that up here is if you're going to print it and you want a very high quality, large size of print. Okay, this is giving you the word list. So it's showing you the analysis, and you can see that science appears here at the top 14 times, food 13 times, uppercase science 9 times. Okay, and then as we go down, you can see things appear less and less frequently until we get down to this whole list of words that really only appears once. Okay, there is something called the gap size, and that's just the spacing between the words. So if I set this to 10, you can see how it pushes everything apart. So just if you find that makes things more legible for you, you could use that option. You also have this option here, which is a little, looks like a little refresh button, but what it actually does is it lets you change the direction of the words. So if I had younger students, I might just send them all horizontal because they might have more difficulty in reading them if they were, at angles, etc. So I can just set them all horizontally. Or you can, I'll come to that in a second. You can just, pick anything you'd like here. So right now we started out on random. You could kind of all put them in this uphill. Okay, so they're in this ball, but they're all on this upward incline. That was ours by default. Okay, you can adjust the shape of the word cloud. Right now you can see it's in a circle or a ball, but if you come in here you have lots of options. I can try to make it look like a cat. Okay, there's some little cat ears. Didn't do too well on the whiskers, but you can try these shapes out, see how well they work for you. Triangle winds up looking a little more like a slice of pizza, but some interesting options in there. There's also the mask, and what the mask does is it shows you the shape that the words are being fit into. Okay, so this is the underlying picture, and perhaps if you did go with a shape that was a little harder to pick out here, now you'd be able to see a little more that it was a cat. Just an option. Themes are really color palettes, so if I click this, you can see that I've now chosen a dark background, and I've got these very vibrant colors, a variety of different themes in there. Or you can just come into colors here, and now you can pick background colors, the image color, and the mask. So just different ways you can hand pick your colors. Okay, you can adjust the font. So this is probably not a good choice because of the number of words, but actually the larger words are very clear and easy to read. It's as we get a little smaller, so you can play around with that font tool to see what's most legible, what's most attractive, etc. Okay, the wizard is simply a set of descriptions about how to upload text. So not something that we really need to worry about too much there. If I do go back to shapes, I didn't explore them fully. They're separate tabs, so I could try to put this in a letter shape like A. And you can see that that's only effective to a degree. You might like what you get. Obviously, if you don't, you just change it. There's also some options under colorful, so I could put it on this wheel, and you can see that now each section of the wheel, the words in each section of the wheel get a different color. And the other thing that you can do is you can upload an image. Now if you go to upload an image, it's going to tell you a couple of things. That it has to be a GIF or a PNG. That's because they have transparent color options, and it should be approximately 800 by 800. It doesn't have to be exact. So let me just go to Google Images here, and I am going to search for, say, rocket. Say this is about space. And I get lots of rockets, but most of these rockets are JPEGs, and they're not going to work. So let's go to the tools right away and use this to help narrow our search. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to color, and I want to pick transparent, and that's only going to give me images that have transparent backgrounds, and that's what I need. Okay, well that worked pretty well by itself. If it didn't, I would have come in here and picked clip art, which would have gotten me the more cartoony pictures. And now under size, I can say exactly 800 by 800, or I could just say larger than, let's say larger than 800 by 600. And that will get me in the ballpark. You see, some of these are much larger. Okay, and let's just say pick, well, that one's pretty big. Okay, let's just pick, yeah, that's about 1,000 by 1,000. That's close enough. So there I have a nice rocket. It should have a transparent background, although it's not showing right here. Let's see if it does. I'm going to say save image. I'm going to put it on my desktop. You can see I already have a rocket on there. I'm going to call this rocket 2, just in case this doesn't have a transparent image. Google is not perfect. I'm going to select shape, rocket 2, open. And it did not work. Let's try it one more time. Uploads, select shape, rocket 2, open. Okay, absolutely not. So let's go back to the other one that I know has a transparent shape because I checked it before. Okay, and now you can see everything's right inside that rocket. Okay, those are the basics of the tool. I think the tool is very simple to use. Students can use it on their own, or you can use it to create something for the class, or you can use it as a presentation in front of the class, kind of ask some questions about what we might think the article was about, what's most important, and then do a little analysis when we actually do the word cloud, what the size in the word cloud means and what that might tell us about the article. Okay, as I said previously, there are other tools out there. One I might show you quickly is from ABCcom. And the only reason I picked this one, I'm going to leave there without saving or printing. You have the option to output this as an image file. Is that there's this nice cool ABCcom is a website that people often use at the pre-K, K1, 2 level for things that they have there. But with this, you can actually, it's just a simple tool to make a word cloud. So let me come to Newsly. I'll copy that again. Paste the words into the space and create it. So while they do have some additional options here, such as color schemes, layout, word limit, how many words. So maybe this is actually a nice feature. Instead of representing all of those words, maybe we only want to represent the top 50 words. Okay, so that can be a way to really emphasize the ones that are used most frequently and not have that diluted by the words that are used just once or so. Okay, little options. You can change font. You can change in your menu. You can print or save these. You can also go to the word filter. And turn that on or off. And you'll see that what that does is when you turn the word filter off, it allows all those small words like the and of and things like that. So you're just going to see that they're going to start to appear in here. And that is not terribly useful. ABC is a great site because it's extremely simple, and especially with younger kids, it's easy to use. When you're done, you just save them, just as with the other site. This is going to save. This is not going to give you too much of a choice. It's going to save as a PNG file. With the other site, you'd have a couple of options, whether it be a PDF or a PNG, but essentially they do the same thing.